Hi there, Dr. Vicki Lemper here with the Shift Happens channel. Today, we're going to talk about imagination, and that is how we create. It is about accepting your imagination as the creator, as God, right? That's how we create. And I know that's kind of blowing, and it took me a bit of a process. And, I might still be on that journey of really, truly understanding and accepting that your imagination truly creates. When you truly believe and become what your imagination is creating inside, you're unstoppable. But we're going to explore that a little deeper. Okay, I'm going to give you a really cool activity to do to really signify evidence that imagination really works and how we can shift that storyline, because so often we have that negative storyline. And I don't even think that a lot of us are even aware of how often we are telling a story that it talks against us, because we're so ingrained in doing the processes, the affirming, the visualizing, that you're like, man, I'm doing all these things, and yet I'm still not getting what I desire. Well, part of it is the imagination, and where are you imagining and what story are you creating, especially when we are reacting to the 3D circumstances. When you really, really, truly accept that imagination creates, that is the God within, then you are going to start becoming indifferent to 3D circumstances. And ultimately, that's where we're at. Because if you think about it, especially when we're dealing with the SP, we are looking at things and like, oh, they didn't text, or they texted, and what does this mean? And we overanalyze, we overthink, and then we call people up and we're like, brrr, and stop and pay attention, because oftentimes that storyline, well, see, they really don't like me. It deep down, there's an underlying current of, see, they really don't like me, and see, they're really rejecting me, and they're really, 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 and I'm gonna really do the really, really, really do this one activity with you, and you're gonna see, oh, I truly am the creator of my reality. Okay, but before we do that, go ahead and like, share, and comment. That's how we build our community. That's how I get my message out. I am here to help you. I have been through it. I started out in law of attraction, and then I found law of assumption, and then I went, I was no different, right? I was searching. I was anxious. I was obsessed. I relaxed. I got calm. I started to believe, and things started shifting. Therefore, that's why I called the channel Shift Happens, right? Because it's incremental shifts. It's a process, and we're all on that journey. And wherever you're at, if you need help with that, go ahead and contact me at shifthappenslifecoaching at gmail.com. All right, so let's get into it. Imagination and really believing that that creates. Okay, so I grew up Catholic. Nothing wrong with being Catholic. But here's the thing, I grew up thinking God is out here keeping score. Oh my gosh, it's scary. We even said we are God fearing. And that to me was like an oxymoron. I'm like, God fearing, isn't God love? Why are we afraid? Right. And so right there, I was like questioning as a child. And it just didn't feel good, because you were constantly under the eye of God, and the God was always judging and be careful or you're going to hell. And, we know what that's like, apparently. That was scary. And so a lot of what we were raised with was fear-based. And even if you weren't Catholic, or you were Christian, or you were whatever, a lot of things are fear-based. And if you didn't grow up religious, just watch TV for a second. Pay attention to the commercials, or don't pay attention, but be aware of the fear. You're not young enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not wealthy enough. Once you get this car, man, you're going to get that special person. Once you get this weight, man, everybody's going to want you, right? Yeah. And, age, you name it. That's a marketer 101. I mean, they play upon your fears. Truly, look at the clickbait. Get this and you will get, here's your fear, now get rid of it this way. And yes, we do that, we help you, but a lot of times make millions in minutes and you're like, hey, the quick way, right? And that's no different than TV. Hey, this is the quick pill to make you skinny. you know? Yeah, it might get you skinny. Yeah, you might make millions in minutes, but is it sustainable? So we go back to what is sustainable. What do we always have? The only thing we have is ourselves. When it truly comes down to it, you came into this earth alone and you're going to go out of it alone. But in between, it's okay. Yeah, okay, let's back up. What we have is our imagination. We create the kingdom within. We create inside of ourselves. And then if we continue on that same storyline of the empowering imagination, the one scene that we really desire, it will eventually objectify on the outside. Let me give you an example. So I want you to sit here and think about something. I want to think about two different scenarios. Take a minute and think about a positive situation where you felt good. Like maybe it was going to the park with your dog and you're walking your dog and you felt good because you were indifferent, you're peaceful, you're enjoying it. Okay. Think about a moment where you felt even content, just relaxed or calm or peaceful. Something in the positive or the loving emotion. What was that? Think of an event that you felt joyful, peaceful, loving. Now I want you to think of an event that caused anxiousness or worry or regret. Think of a situation where whether it's in your mind or whether it's an actual event. Think about the fear-based emotions: worry, anxiety, jealousy, regret, resentment. Okay, those two events, you had a story going through your head. Now I want to ask you, whose voice was it? It was yours. So what does that tell you? That you are creating both the positive or the loving scenario, storyline, or you're creating the fear-based scenario. So what does that give us? It gives us power. It gives us power and choice. If you're aware of the storyline based on how you're feeling, really, that's the indicator. Your body is an indicator, your feeling, all of those pieces really indicate, well, who am I being? And that's the state where you're like, okay, am I in the state of being valued or being insignificant? Am I choosing to be seen or not seen, right? Am I choosing to be wealthy or poor? Am I choosing to be loved or loveless? And it is that simple. Once you start becoming aware of the state that you're feeling, as far as like what you're believing in that moment, especially when you're encountering 3D circumstances, you can go back and you can change. Watch what happens, especially if you're on a roll. And I will give you a story later on about what happened to me. I teach teachers how to teach, and I spiraled. And my students reflected my fear-based thinking. And I'm going to do a big video on that because it's kind of a long story, but it was really actually empowering. I felt very powerless until I realized I am both the fear-based and the loving scenario. I am both of those states, all of those states. We have all states within us. We are both confident and not confident, adequate, inadequate. We get to choose, right? And it's just feeling safe in our imagination to truly accept it. So how do you get rid of those fear-based feelings or thoughts? You accept that you have them, and then accept that you also have the opposite of it, and you leave room for that goodness to come in. Leave room for just even a moment of feeling worthy, of being wealthy, of being loved, of being accepted, of belonging, valued, seen, heard, adequate, whatever it is, right? And we can really boil it down to like a few words of safety, security, acceptance. Those are really at the heart of love, right? And so that is what I'm telling you. It is a journey to really accept that the imagination creates, but just test yourself and just do it with some little things and just go, okay, so I've got a situation where I'm not really getting along with somebody at work. Choose to be the person that accepts themselves and is seen and is valued, and that your boss sees you and values you, and see how that relationship changes and develops. And they will start to acquiesce according to your belief system, according to how you truly are feeling and choosing your thoughts in a loving manner, or is it fear-based? And people will reflect that. All right. All right. I know this set well with you. If you need help on this journey, go ahead and contact me at shifthappenslifecoaching@gmail.com. All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.